Thanks very much, Rich, and thanks to all of you for being here today. I thought I'd say a little bit about what I might call my journey to convergence and my experience as a board member. I've been a board member for a number of years. But I would say that my kind of journey to convergence began actually way before I even knew Rob. I'm one of the few people who didn't know Rob when they first got involved. Everybody seems to kind of meet through Rob. But actually my journey really began in the mid-90s. I was at the Heritage Foundation, a very conservative institution. I was actually there for 35 years, but in the mid-90s, there was a lot of discussion going on about welfare reform, about the idea that the welfare system really wasn't working and that we needed to have a significant overhaul. And you remember that President Clinton was very much involved in that. So when I was at Heritage, I actually kind of got together with people from a wide variety of policy organizations, people on the left especially. And we kind of got together and said, we all feel that there's something wrong with this system, and we all feel that there needs to be big change. Let's see if we can kind of work it out. And we spent a lot of time trying to trust each other. I mean, people on the left thought that I was from the Heritage Foundation, a conservative, that I had a special device called a grinder that was ground into the faces of the poor, you know, things like that. And I thought they were all communists. But anyway, and it took a lot of time to build trust, to kind of understand where we all came from, and so on. And we worked hard at it, and thanks to that and a lot of other efforts like it, we got a consensus together in the mid-90s for welfare reform. And I say this because having gone through that, we had to kind of learn the hard way about how to get people together and what the kind of do's and don'ts and how to make it work. And I think one of the things I thought about at the time was, you know, if only there was an organization that you could like pick up the phone, you know, these are the days you had phones and used them, pick up the phone and actually get them to come and facilitate what we were trying to do. So I was very much sort of ready for this. And then a few years later, I actually did meet Rob at an effort, again, that preceded convergence, which was an effort to try to widen coverage, healthcare coverage, for uninsured Americans, so-called HCCU. And Ron Pollock over there was one of my co-conspirators on that. Again, a guy really way on the left. You cannot believe how far on the left he is. But anyway, so, and Rob was involved in that with Search for Common Ground. So that was my first experience of actually a structured effort of exactly the kind of thing which I thought a few years earlier, if only we'd had. And so that's how I got started. And so you can imagine, having had that experience, both the need, thinking about the need for an organization, and then encountering Rob in an effort which successfully brought a wide range of stakeholders together on agreement. When Rob launched, and Akif and others launched Convergence, I was ready for it. And so I got involved very early on and joined the board, and have been there ever since. And it strikes me that, from my experience, the keys to the success, when we think about the secret sauce of Convergence, is that number one, it provides a safe space for conversation. You heard about that this morning with regard to the re-entry. And there's a lot of things that need to happen for a safe space to be real for people. Secondly, it very consciously builds up trust across viewpoints, and you heard that again today. And the third, and in many ways the most critical ingredient of what makes convergence, I think, is that it doesn't just do that in general. It uses really professional techniques to do it. I mean, Rich talked about what we did with members of Congress. This was not just random. This is using techniques that are well understood in the field to actually kind of make it work. And those facilitators and the way we facilitate them is absolutely crucial to it. It's using those techniques. I sometimes call Convergence, what Convergence does, as family counseling for policymakers, because it kind of uses the techniques of how do you get people who are angry with each other to actually sit down. I think also that as we think about what we've done and as we think about the future, you can see from some of the projects that have been talked about today, the re-entry project, if that, that has been a highly successful project, and just imagine if those ideas take root, what a profound change it's going to make in this country to really tackle that issue. We've got another project on the health system, on really redesigning health. What a highly leveraged project that is. And then this project on Congress. If we can get Congress to function by using our techniques there, then just imagine what it means for the country. So that's why I am so dedicated to what we're trying to do, because this is an organization that was needed in the past and didn't exist. We were trying to find something like it. It now exists. It's applying in some key areas, and will do even more in the future. And it's going to make a profound difference in this country. So I'm very proud to be involved with Convergence. I just want to, like everybody else does, say pay tribute to Rob, to Akif, and others who helped set this organization. And I just want to thank everybody, all of you that are involved in it, for what you're doing. So thank you very much.